Gotta have one. Hi, Jim. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now I can. All right, give us just a few more minutes, wait and see if anybody else will come on.
Okay.
Hey Jim, just keeping you updated. We don't have anyone here. So there's no one here and there's no one online yet. So just give it a few more minutes. Hopefully we'll get some more participants.
That's fine. Yeah, just let me know. I'm just working on other stuff. All right, thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Hi, Daryl. Thanks for joining.
You're welcome. Sorry I was late.
That's okay. We don't have anyone here yet, so it's just Jim and you
Oh,
for right now. So we'll see.
okay. Well, then I'll have
Yeah,
fun with
we
my
may have a
camera
yeah,
just while I'm
we
doing
may have
this.
a very
Just
short meeting today.
okay. See if I can make Jim seasick. Probably shouldn't be doing this. Kind of nutso traffic out today.
Yeah, I think we'd definitely rather you be safe.
Oh, I'm always safe, relatively speaking. So Jim and I are the diehards. Is that what I'm hearing?
It looks like it. All right, well, it is 3:10, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, it's gonna be just real quick. If you have any comments, put them in the chat, please and thank you, so I can look over them later. Since I'm set up at the table, the room won't really be able to hear you. So if you put them in the chat, we can reiterate the message. Okay, so I did have some activities for us today. But since we have a lack of participants, we're kind of just keep it cut to the minimum. So the first thing on the agenda is going to be reviewing the edits to the CAC rack card and the stormwater drain marking. Daryl, do you have access to those, or you've already sent me your thoughts on those, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you did. Okay. Jim, did you get a chance to look over those? Okay, perfect. Yep, Brian's sharing.
Yeah, I did. I thought there was improvements on it. I liked that it was a little less translucent. I thought it made it easier to read. So I thought it was improvement on that.
Okay, so you like that the box on the front was less translucent, so this text is easier to read?
Yeah, I thought the translucency kind of, particularly for the smaller, thinner text, made it harder to read. So I think it improved what you did.
Okay, and what about the layout of the image on the front of the card?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it looks to me like I can't quite tell if you just shifted it down or if you shrunk it some, but I think it, gives a better feel for being an estuary rather than, how it was before. It was a little harder to tell.
Yeah, so I moved the image down. I think our last meeting, we had some suggestions to zoom it in a little bit and bring more of the sky up top, so less of the image is covered by that box up top. So I just shifted it down and zoomed it in a little bit so you can see more of what's going on.
Yeah.
You still can't really see the outfall, so I may try to shift it again.
I don't think you
As
have to
Daryl
see that
suggested.
really. I mean, most people won't know what that is.
Yeah. Okay. Any suggestions from the room? Like that you can see more of the water. Amanda, you have anything? Yeah. So you like that you have the trees on the bottom. So it's either kind of like you're either losing the trees on the bottom for the outfall up top, or you'd be losing the outfall for the trees. Yeah. So I'm trying to reiterate everything so everyone can hear what the comments being said are. Yeah, so it seems like overall we like the front image. Okay, so I guess let's take a look at the back and see how we feel about those edits. So it sounds like in the room they like the icons. I'm gonna try to switch over to speaker and see if you guys can hear what we're saying in the room here. All right, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Oh. Yes, Jim.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought it was good improvements overall. I think the little bit of added text had helped to clarify, what we wanted to communicate. And then that the icons also, I think, helped give a better, idea on that as well. So I thought, I like the changes.
Okay, great. Would you mind leaving some of your comments in the chat first to review in case we miss something you say?
Sure.
Awesome, thank you. All right. And Daryl, what was your suggestion for this page?
If you give me 2 more minutes, I'll be in the house and can look at it. I'm unloading right now.
Oh, right, sorry, I forgot you were not in front of a camera. Okay, so basically we like the rewording of the call to action up top. We like the icons. I did make the text box just a little bit larger to account for the icons. And then added a little bit of context to saying like you're bridging the gap between the public and the estuary program as an ambassador. So it cleared that up a little bit as well. Sweet. And then Daryl, since you already sent me your comments, you don't have to. I'm just wondering if you knew off the top of your head what they were and see if we had any agreement on those. Ryan, did you have any suggestions on these? I think that was great. Okay, well, that is just about it for edits. Unless Daryl, you'd like to come back and provide yours, we can continue moving on. Let's see. All right, so next on the agenda is just providing an update on the proposed projects for last month. So at last month's meeting, we were talking about Seagrass Awareness Month coming up in March and some outreach projects that we could put into place to raise program awareness and awareness for our seagrass projects in particular. So someone, I believe Chantil suggested trying to partner with businesses and doing like a give back to the estuary program on like a percentage of purchases or proceeds or something of that nature. So we did look at that. We called the campaign Fraction for Seagrass Action. These are currently on all the tables in the lecture hall in the Holly building for First Friday, the Chamber of Commerce meeting. So this is going to end up in a lot of business owners' hands, and hopefully it gets some good feedback or some good like interest in that. I've also reached out to the Center for the Arts. This morning I had a meeting with the director, Jason Kretzer, about doing some kind of collaboration with them for Seagrass Awareness Month. So it looks like we're going to be doing a kids coloring page on seagrass and the things that live in the seagrass, have a little bit of information for the parents on the estuary program and kind of some of the seagrass stuff we're doing there. So that'll help with our program outreach as well. So the sheet that's pulled up in front of you, if you know any business owners that may be interested in participating in this, please feel free to email it over to them, print it out, get it to them, get it in front of them if you don't so mind. Yeah, we're trying to get this out in front of people. And hopefully if we get good feedback this year, we can make it even bigger next year. So we do have some stickers and window clings coming in for that as well, for each participating business. And all of the donations will go back to the Seagrass project. So outreach and education, the Adopt a Buoy program that we're considering, the Seagrass greenhouse, and then also creation of signage and things like that for boaters. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this Fraction for Seagrass Action, and do you have any suggestions on who we could reach out to?
So I like this. I think this is new. I think you did this since what you sent out earlier. Is that right?
So the one I sent out last week, I sent just the sticker. And then
Right.
this week I've been working on this handout. So yes, the handout is new. It was in the email I sent this morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did not see that. I like this because that was my comment was I really, just seeing the sticker, you didn't know there wasn't enough there to understand what was going on. So I like having this because then when you see that logo, then you know what it means and so
Yeah, last week was more of a teaser trailer.
yeah. Yeah. No, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
needed
this,
some time to get the rest of this together.
yeah,
Yeah,
this looks
so
good.
thank you. And then let me see. Jim, what are
One
your
thought,
thoughts? Oh, sorry.
one thought
Uh-huh.
is where when you get to the section where it says your donation will go to support seagrass restoration,
Uh-huh.
if you could add some photos of like prop scars, just some examples of why seagrass needs restoration and the kinds of things that are impacting it versus
Uh-huh.
just words. I think showing a picture of what you're trying to fix would go a long way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And like instead of the icons, I think.
Yeah, are
Yeah.
you saying instead of the icons that are down there, or just as an additional photo?
Depending on how busy this gets, I think if you had to sacrifice something on the page, then yeah, probably sacrifice the icons and or find a way to incorporate a picture in there. Because I think
Yeah.
just seeing because it's pretty obvious when you see a pretty badly prop scarred area what the problem is and you're trying to fix, and that
Mhm.
kind of helps you get back to the education component of showing what's happening from people running from not trimming their motor,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So
not tilting up.
giving maybe a little more context on why we
Yeah.
care about the seagrass.
Yeah, and what you're trying to fix,
Yeah.
and what the funds would go towards.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Y'all aren't back there. Y'all sit out here.
because right now the people, there's people that understand what it is, but for people that don't understand, why you're trying to do this and why it matters, I think having the pictures of, maybe having a really badly scarred up area and then a nice, healthy, functioning area and show the wildlife that are in there, get like a wildlife shot. I think you had was it the shark that was in it or a turtle or something that was in, pretty healthy seagrass area back several meetings ago when we were looking at photos for the photo
Uh-huh.
contest. I think like
Okay.
comparing and contrasting, like this is why we need healthy, this is what benefits from it, and then showing an area where it's badly scarred up and why it needs restoration. Okay, I beat
Okay.
that horse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good suggestion. I'll try to find some room in here to add some comparison images.
Good idea.
Okay. And Skipper also just arrived. So he's reviewing some of our items from before now. I also think we didn't look at the stormwater drain marking yet either, did we? I skipped right over that one. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a step back and review the stormwater drain marking as well. Skipper, what are your thoughts?
Well, I like runs into bay or protect our bay. This water runs into the bay, drains the waterway is great. Because I guess drains the waterway means it's not just gonna go in the bay,
Mhm.
like if you're in a creek or river,
Yeah.
So I guess drains the waterway. In Cary, they had it where it said Neuse River Water Basin,
Mhm.
this drains into it, but they had a spray paint thing that with a stencil and it did that way.
Okay.
That's how this is gonna be too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This will also be
Oh, I like that
stenciled.
one right there. That one's perfect. I might make the fish a little bit more like a fish.
You think it needs to be fishier? The fish needs fishier?
I think that, you know, if it rubs off or something, it might not look like a fish. Or, you know, more just thinking how people think.
Like a
Yeah.
classic fish kind of silhouette?
I love this. I mean, that's great. Like, old people like me might look at it and go, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Okay,
That's awesome what you got.
thank you.
Uh,
So online, if you didn't hear, Skipper suggested possibly changing the fish to be more of a classic fish silhouette. He said that it may be a little difficult to
we're talking about this.
see or like to tell what that is, especially after it gets maybe a little damaged or rubbed off, and maybe kind of difficult to tell what it is.
Agree with that. This gentleman says maybe so too.
Okay. Any comments online?
You saw where I invited a ton of people.
I don't really monitor that.
Invited a ton.
Is anyone speaking?
Yeah, the attorney did.
No, I thought this looked good. Cause I
Okay,
know
perfect.
it's not, again, with a storm drain marking, you know, the thinking is you can't make it too busy because it just, you're gonna get depending on if you're walking, riding or driving, you're not gonna get a good long look. So I like how, I'm just gonna say simple, but don't take that as a dig. I mean, you look at it and I see a fish, a scallop, and you know, the words. So I think much more than this, and it's gonna be too much to look at, to process as you're driving by or, you know, going by.
Well, what
Gotcha.
we're really concerned
Okay,
is
so-
the people
so-
that are dumping stuff in there to realize it, not as they're driving by.
Well, I think it's both because
Yeah.
I mean, what we're trying to do is raise awareness that drain goes someplace and it goes to our surface waters. And, you know, and I think that's just a good, anyway.
Yeah, I like it. And I actually like the fish icon, but you know, I'm a fisher. And so I realized that was,
Right.
you know, a redfish, but people that don't do that may not realize it. And I definitely understand the profile does not look like, I mean, it looks like to me a typical redfish, but
Right.
people that don't fish probably wouldn't recognize it as that. So I can see, you know, making it more similar to a standard fish profile, but you know, because we're trying to reach a broader population.
Okay, so online, you're saying that you both like the redfish, but because you can identify it as a redfish. So maybe for someone that's not as familiar with fish, may not have the same context to see what that is. So
Yeah.
maybe a classic fish silhouette would be better for this.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but because I do like this, but I
Yeah.
think that we're trying to reach a broader audience.
Yeah. And what was your comment about seeing it from the road? Or like driving by?
That was Darrell's comment, people seeing that, but my comment was what we're really concerned with too is people not putting the stuff down the drains where this is. But you know, this could actually, I would think about, rather than just thinking about this as a decal or medallion put on the drainage facility itself, this is something that could be put on, like, you know, ditches and stuff like that, you know, as a stand-up sign to let people know too. So I wouldn't think about just putting it on the stormwater drains. I would think about putting it in areas where those are, or the ditches are, and things like that, so people realize.
That's a great
Okay,
point.
So not limiting it just to drains, but in other spaces as well that may grab more attention.
You can always just say flows.
Places that do drains, so you have your stormwater ditches that drain
waterways.
into the bays as well. And I think letting people realize that it's not just, you know, a stormwater sewer or whatever you wanted to call it, that it goes there, but you know, the open ditches a lot of times are draining towards the bay as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you
So
know,
do you
oh,
want
go
it to
ahead.
change to drains to bay rather than waterways?
No, because, you know, if you're a long ways away from the bay, people may not, you know, and not all these are necessarily going to go to the bay. It may be going to some of our closed basin lakes and stuff like that too. So, yeah, it's more accurate to say waterways. And I
Yeah.
think it has a broader representation of the areas that we really should be protecting, even if it's not going directly into the bay, if it's going into, you know,
Or Jim,
Okay.
you could say drains of waterways and bay. I mean, but this is an estuary program, right? That's what we're talking about.
Oh, Kent has joined online. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Well,
hi.
Sorry for butting in.
No,
and,
you're
and
okay.
going
I didn't realize you had joined the chat.
and going to Jim's point, I think, you know, the signs is a good idea. And then also an outreach campaign, you know, getting with the TV stations. And like when you kick this campaign off, get a story on, you know, on TV news and just have that logo, you know, really get it spiffy and ready to go. And then get an interview with JT, what is it? JT, whatever, Channel 10. And you know, have that logo in the background and talk about the campaign and the estuary program. And so people recognize, you know, when they see this, that's what it means. And
Are you talking about the use of the scallop icon?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. I would definitely try to get a media story or two or three about the effort, the drain marking effort, and, you know, here's the logo, here's what it means, and get them to do an interview, you know, with you, and then have that logo in the background, which is again trying to help that recognition factor. So when people, you know, see that, they know what it represents.
Yeah.
Sure things. Outreach.
Yeah, one thing at a time, but yeah, that's a great idea. Once we get there, yeah, we'll definitely, I think getting in front of some news outlets would be great outreach for the program. Any more feedback from the room on the drain markings, storm drain?
What did they say, that instead of drains to waterways, say runs to the, what did they say?
So they agreed that waterways is probably the best use of words there, because not all areas that we
Goes to the
would
bay.
be going would go to the bay. Yeah. They also said that as a fisherman, the redfish, you can really understand what it is, but for the general audience,
The population.
may not understand that. Yeah. So maybe just using a classic fish silhouette there. They also said,
Fin, you know, it has
yeah.
distinct fin, but even
Yeah.
that, and even the dots, you know, the 3 dots or whatever.
They also suggested utilizing this in more places than just on the storm drain as a stencil. Maybe finding some other locations to use it on. Just to increase public.
I love that, you know,
Visualization.
I'll never forget my Brooklyn neighbor changing his oil in my neighborhood at the end of the cul-de-sac that went right into our lake.
Oh my gosh.
Never forget.
Yes. All right, so I know you guys you missed our section on the rack card. Do you have any comments or suggestions on the rack card?
Is this one or this, oh, this rack card?
I mean, for people online, you
Hmm.
Is that everything?
For review, this is the last position or the last thing on the review, and then I wanted to go over some more projects. And if you want, you can just leave your comments on the form and just turn them in at the end so we can keep moving forward. All right. And then Kent, feel free to leave your comments on that rack card and the storm drain marking in the chat, and we'll review at the end.
You're good. I will tell you this real quick. You need to lead with protecting the store. That needs to be up there, and then anything else follows it. So, I mean, people tend to look at that first. I think.
What was the suggestion?
Protect and
I
restore.
think what you got down here needs to be
Mhm.
up here. I don't know about the community action.
Okay, so moving protect and restore to the top of the card rather than underneath community action committee. Okay. All right, so moving on to the proposed projects, we did talk about the fraction for Seagrass Action. I also briefly mentioned I spoke with Jason Kretzer this morning about the Center for the Arts, helping us promote Seagrass Awareness Month with coloring pages for the kids. Another thing that came to mind this week was potentially making estuary program trading cards. So and I would like to have a small series, 3 to 5 cards with different animals and plants on them, ready by March. And essentially each card would have the estuary program logo on the back, and then on the reverse side would have an animal of some kind that rely on seagrass or a species of seagrass, and then have information about it and the other organisms in their ecosystems that rely on them as well. So I wanted to get a pulse check on that idea, see what you guys think. I also talked to Center for the Arts and a few other local businesses if they would be willing to keep those trading cards with them. Because alongside that, we would also make a watershed passport and have on there the locations of these trading cards, and people can stop in at those locations and pick up a trading card. So it would be like a collectible for the estuary program. So any thoughts on that idea?
I like, especially the passport. I think we're gonna need to quickly freeze. Loop in
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, so again, last week, I kind of talked about doing estuary program trading cards. So they would be collectibles that would have a specialized animal or plant or something like that on one side, with some information about them and the organisms organisms in their ecosystem that rely on them. And maybe doing a small series for Seagrass Awareness Month in March. So maybe doing a few seagrass species and then things that rely on seagrass beds and other creatures that live in seagrass beds.
As far as parts go.
So that's something I've kind of been getting a feeler out for. So if this is something potentially people would like to do, I would contact local businesses, see if they would be willing to host a certain card. So let's say the series is 1 through 5. You can get card 1 at Hammerhead Fred's. You can get card 2 at Finn's. You can get card 3 at Center for the Arts, and just whoever would be willing to host the cards. And then we would make a estuary program like watershed passport that would have hotspots in the watershed. So you have like Econfina Creek, you have Panama City Beach, the conservation park, things like that. And then also as hotspots on the watershed passport would be these locations that you can find these trading cards at.
And you could also do a contest on if you get the whole collection of trading cards. That maybe take a picture and
Yeah, and you get like
somehow you're
bag or
the
something.
marketing guy. That, but there needs to be some value in the end.
Yeah, it would be most likely, well, some people find trading cards to be the value. A lot of people collect trading cards, but I do see where you're coming from, and that's why. So I was thinking for the Seagrass Awareness Month, they collect all 5, and then they get one of our Seagrass Circle stickers that are incoming, the boat floats, maybe a t-shirt or a dry bag or something like that, where they are getting like a physical like trophy at the end if they collect all 5
And
cards.
every one will have a QR code, and if you got a blue heron or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we're docked at the marina right now at St. Andrews. And have you seen the pictures of all the wading birds and animals that are along the walkway?
I have not.
If y'all come to look at us, you can also see those. They have some beautiful, they're about this big, and then they tell about the animals, kind of like St. Andrews State Park.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
if you
cool.
did St. Andrews Marina, the walking on Alice, on Bayview there,
Mhm.
that'd be a great tie-in.
Okay, yeah, that's a
Papa
good idea.
Joe's.
Papa Joe's, yep. Anyone online have any comments? Or have you left them in the chat? Let's see.
I wouldn't look at chat. Chat's not important right now.
Have you- I
know
was
we
gonna
have
put
a
them on our,
shortage of rack cards, but.
No, we've got
You're
plenty.
good?
Yeah, we're good. You can shake 'em.
So you're not going to want to hear this, but I do have an idea.
Okay.
So if you like doing the trading cards idea, I would develop like a Pokemon Go type trading card game where, and this is going to take a small amount of work, but for each trading card, create a estuary or watershed, actually for that matter, creature, give them skills and bonuses and attack and defense, and then create this. And this would be a great fundraiser too. Create like a Pokemon or a Tigawachi. I forget what the other one's called. There's a bunch of different trading card games, and you get the packs and
Mickey
and-
Mantle.
well, I get the ball card thing, but what I was thinking is if you can create a game, of how the animals interact, and then, it catches hold, and then the kids want to go get a pack of, estuary trading cards, and then they play with their
They
friends.
can actually play them.
Yeah.
So,
just-
the inspiration from this actually comes from a card game that I have called Ecologies. It was developed by a biology professor, and it does a very similar thing. Where so if you want to Google it, go for it. But I'll just kind of give you a brief overview of what this is. But
you said ecologies?
yeah, it's called Ecologies card game.
Yep, I got it. Okay.
And so there's different things in there. So you're building food webs that has a bunch of different cards that all live in different ecosystems. Some of the creatures live in multiple ecosystems. There's different biomes. So you're trying to build these biomes out, and each card represents a different creature. And they're either a producer, a consumer, a decomposer, all different things. And it tells you what they can eat and what they are eaten by. So, and it also tells you what kind of ecosystem they live in. So this is very heavily my inspiration for doing these trading cards. And I feel like if we were to turn it into a game, it would be copying their game a little closely. And I don't know how comfortable I would feel just like completely ripping off this card game. But it definitely is the inspiration for the trading cards. But you're right, it would be really cool to be able to play them or do something with them rather than just collecting.
Well, maybe reach out to them, and I have no idea what kind of person this is, but say, hey, here's what we're trying to do. Could you help us develop a version for the estuary? And just see what he says, he or she. You said it was a he or she?
Yes, I believe it's a he.
Yeah, but in any case, just see if maybe there's a potential to work with them. And anyway, but what I do like is that we're on the same wavelength in terms of, hey, you know what this could be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It could. We'll just have to see if I can. So I know he's a little this is more like it's not a very well-known game. It's kind of on a small
Right.
scale. And so maybe because of that, he would be willing to work with us. But then again, I know that if we're just doing trading cards, that's something that I can illustrate and do. But if we're turning it into a game and requiring partners to make that happen, that's also going to require more funding.
That could be like a long-term
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. We could do an initial run and just see how it goes, if there's any interest in it, and then build it out from there if there
Yeah.
is.
but I mean, just kids love collecting cards. I mean, back in Jim and my day, it was baseball cards and but it's turned into, I mean, my grandsons, gee whiz, like I said, Pokemon, and there's like 2 or 3 other names that I can't pronounce, trading cards that they get and play with. And
and see what cost is print.
So we can actually get them printed locally. It's here, you can feel this one if you want. This is essentially, it's the same card stock as a business card. So doing,
I guess if we could look at if we could get this like mine,
Mhm.
we put our logo on the bottom of it,
Mhm.
and we could print for ours or we print our thing on the front of it, and then
the estuary thing,
Mhm.
and on the back, you put whatever information you want to put on it.
Yeah,
But I mean, the cost to print these isn't that much.
Yeah.
Normally, like a normal business, this is bigger than business, right? So I'd have to, talk to my guy Grant.
Yeah.
with that.
and then if each series was sponsored by a different partner, or a
Yeah,
different
so you have
business,
different.
yeah, have a
maybe
whole
hunts,
series.
I just
Mhm.
throwing that out there. But
Yeah, that would definitely help cover the funding. It would help get the business's name out there. It'd help get the program's name out there.
but that's something coming like.
What is that, Daryl?
Hey,
You're on mute.
I mean, yeah, just to see how it.
So do you like the idea?
So,
Put an offer on it. You
Oh,
know,
wait.
It's a bit more than just
Sorry, just a moment, Daryl. What was that?
That's
Sorry.
fine.
I don't think to put an offer on it. I mean, like, say, for instance, hey, see one of our other partners in the estuary program, it could be Chuck Lump, it could be whomever,
Mhm.
and then they could use that maybe for 10% off, or, you'd have to talk that out to other businesses. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has potential.
I'd be willing to
Yeah.
talk to a few business owners, and see if they be, like that Cajun Place, some of the other places
Mm.
that I work around.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We would just have to be sure that once they've got to be committed to it, like if we're putting their logo on it as well.
Start it, stop it, yeah.
Yeah. Because if it's just the estuary program logos, if you decide you don't want to carry them anymore, or it's too much of a hassle, we can find another partner another distribution point for those cards. But once the logo goes on and it's specified for that location, and we have the watershed passports made, it's like, okay, this is here now. It's got to be kept
I
up.
get it. I'm just spitballing. I'm
Yeah.
just throwing stuff out there, that
Yeah.
could be opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good idea though. I didn't think about how far that could expand rather than
It'd be
just the
easy
trading.
I mean, we bought 3,000 cards and it cost us $250.
Mhm.
It's not that.
Yeah,
It's not as much of a
It's
contribution.
just
Yeah.
something that you can see. And if it works, then they'll reinvest.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then maybe not.
Yeah. It's a starting point. Daryl, what were you gonna say?
no, so back when we did Project Green Shores, we set up a geocache. And this, we also did, we had one of our district employees was a bird photographer. And so she shot pictures of all the birds that visited Project Green Shores. And so what we did is we came up with a kind of similar trading cards, but these are just badges, like typical, office badges that you get when you join an organization. And on one side is the Latin name and photo of the bird. And then on the back side talks about, what that bird is. And then
Okay.
of course had the district's website at the bottom. And then we put a geocache out, and one thing you could do with geocaching is put a tag on it and put this in the geocache, and then somebody will take it and then there's a code on this. You go to the code and it's like the web page for this particular trackable item, and the owner will give it a task. Like, I want to go around the world, and geocachers will try to put these in geocaches that help make that mission possible. But we had I think we had like 30 different birds that we just made cards for, and these were extremely popular. I mean, we probably printed 2,000-ish of these, and there's not that many left. So that's another thing that you can do, is just get photos of the different types of organisms, the iconic ones, and start putting those out. And along the same lines is, collect the whole set, and then maybe work with businesses, and so that businesses that are part of this partnership, you go buy something from that business, you get a trading card, and then so the goal is to maybe get the whole set of 20, and whoever the first person is gets a free t-shirt, something. But that's way to kind of work with your businesses, and something's in it for them because you're drawing people to them, and then something for the estuary program. So
Sure, yeah, make it mutually beneficial.
Normally like profit.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like everyone really likes the idea of the trading cards. I haven't heard from, let's see. I don't think I've heard anything from Kent
I forgot.
or Jim
It'll stop second.
on the trading cards. If you guys have any opinions on those or that idea. Good, looks good. Cool.
It's up to you folks. I mean, I'm all for not putting out more stuff that's gonna be thrown on the ground.
Heard that. Yep, good point. Yeah, hopefully something like this we could make valuable enough. Because I mean, trading cards are known as like kind of collector's items. So as long as we don't go the cheap route and get them made poorly.
Holographic.
Get holographic. Yeah. Yeah, something that people want to
I think
keep.
You got a great idea.
I love it.
You're hitting.
I love your level.
One guy like me. That's the right market.
The younger market.
Yeah, that's really the people that you want to grow and know.
Yeah, yeah. Got to bring some young blood into it. Okay, so that's about all I have on the proposed projects for now, which that is quite a few things if we're trying to get all of these done before March. So hopefully by our next meeting, I'll have some tangibles on these items. If not, we'll at least have some progress moving forward on them. Rob, did you receive the fraction for seagrass action pamphlet as well? Okay, yeah, we touched on that briefly. We're looking for businesses that may be interested in participating in that to help promote our seagrass projects coming up. So went over that, I think, before you walked in. And yep, that was something that we talked about at the last meeting. So I've kind of just been doing some work on that, see kind of what we think. And then trying to get that started before March. Give us just a few minutes online for us to get the room up to date on what they missed before they walked in.
Ready to roll.
All right, so moving forward, at the last few meetings, I've heard some comments about wanting to be more involved. So the Community Action Committee to the people who attend feels more it's action, right? You want to be hands-on, you want to be more involved in the community and in things rather than just coming to these meetings and reviewing. So I've been looking at opportunities for the CAC to get some hands-on involvement and get a volunteer network set up. So we've got a lot of outreach events coming up. Starting this Saturday, we have Winter Bay Day. If anyone would like to attend, it'll be in St. Joe at the Buffer Preserve. It's going to be a lot of educational booths. There's going to be a fish fry, right? Or a crawfish boil. Shrimp boil. What else is going on? Next Tuesday, there's going to be a fish fry at the Capitol in Tallahassee for Florida Oceans Day. We do have the Emerald Coast Boat Show coming up the first weekend of March. And do we have any other outreach activities in the next month? That's a
great.
Yeah, the Redfish Film Festival would be in April. So if anyone's interested in helping us volunteer to help us with these events coming up, the ones next week, it'll be cut a little too close to get people up to date on how to run the booth and what to say and things like that. But for the Emerald Coast Boat Show and Redfish Film Festival, and then I believe Sandhills Native Nursery is also having their annual big annual party that we're going to be going out to in April as well. That'll be the 4th through the 6th. If you're interested in volunteering, we'll be starting orientation packets to get everyone up to date on how to answer questions, frequently asked questions.
The Tupelo beekeepers of Bay County is also having a bee college in August at Gulf Coast. So that's a good tie-in for estuaries,
Okay.
Water. And this, unfortunately, University of Florida up there anyway.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be an incredible, there's beekeepers from all over that'll be coming there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll be working on a volunteer packet to orient people whenever they do want to come volunteer. You'll be kind of caught up to date. We will require that the packet be completed before you volunteer, so we are being represented to the best of our abilities. Yeah, so I did have a little an activity for you, for disseminating the volunteer opportunity information for the network. So kind of trying to determine what is the best way to get this information to people, and how to, what kind of like forum or platform should we use to get the most engagement for this volunteer network. So we've talked about doing a listserv. We've talked a little bit about doing a Facebook group. We've talked about just an email list, but I would really like to have a way where people who want to volunteer and people who are looking for volunteers can all come together and share the information. So does anyone have any ideas of how we could disseminate that information in a way that's not redundant? Because right now I'm using Facebook, I'm using email. If I get a listserv set up, I'll be doing that. It's also going on the newsletter. So what is a
Very powerful, your new rack cards will be great because with the QR code and isn't that what the purpose of what I gave you? That'll be helpful too, right?
for, oh, the CAC rack card? Yeah, so using the Community Action Committee Facebook group as like the central hub for the volunteer network.
I think
Okay.
that'll be.
Yeah. Should the volunteer network be on a separate page that's not under the Community Action Committee?
I would separate.
No?
I would just continue to grow it. I think that we had an incredible initial community group, but then I think we kind of burned them out with a lot of bullet points and gelling everything together, which is necessary, and we had to do it. But I think we need to reconnect with those lists, for there.
For,
Moving to different areas like this is helpful too for parking,
yeah,
for being able to do that. So I think that we're on the right track. I think y'all are doing a great job,
thank you.
You should make it so that like organizations like Autobahn or like stuff like that can post their volunteer stuff.
Yeah, yes.
And I saw that we have friends of the St. Andrews Bay and we have friends of St. Joseph Bay. I shared to the committee meeting today, I tried to share it to the friends of St. Andrews,
Mhm.
which would be, we can get, dual, not necessarily dual memberships, but make a lot of those people like the Turtle Watch, the St. Andrew Bay, St. Joseph Bay, all those things have the same community thought process. And so if we can do that,
Yeah.
I think that would be huge. God gave you eyes to plagiarize.
Well, so I guess I'm worried if maybe the Community Action Committee may, like, the name of it may mislead people. So if we do start a new Facebook group that's public and it's just called St. Andrew Watershed Volunteer Network, people know what it is right off the
That's
bat.
an idea. I mean, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe community action. They
Gotta
think
be
we're,
careful of everything they put out there with your advertising.
maybe community action. They think we're signing people up to vote or something.
Yeah, and then saying committee is a little scary too. It makes it feel very,
I gotta do something.
yeah, very formal. I got to do something. But if we call it just a volunteer network, people immediately know what it is.
I like that. That's a
Um,
great idea.
But it's kind of, do
a
we want to leave it
CAC,
on?
Is it right now? Is it a private group? Because I've found that you can't go private to public.
Yeah, yep, it's private,
So-
to kind of keep the spam out. But I feel like, if the Community Action Committee wants to really get involved in things, that's something that we can do as one of our meetings.
Yeah.
So, which kind of moves us forward into the next point, which I actually want to hold off for just a second on that and see if anyone online has any suggestions about that volunteer network.
Y'all gonna have to.
Deeds.
Those,
So do we think Facebook group is probably the best way to get that information out there.
I think that, you know, that, and then like with our Coquina, the Arctide, we have it where it automatically goes to Instagram,
Mhm.
you know. And all
Yeah,
that.
so social media.
Yeah.
I would like, once we get our new website up and running, there's a section, like a form that people can post their upcoming events to, and then we could share it on our calendar on the website
And also,
too.
if you have a open group, you could say, post your estuary pictures, you know,
Mhm.
picture of the month that could automatically be, you know, something simple for that, where you know, people, you know, sunset pictures with herons and egrets and dolphins and
Yeah.
all those things. Excuse me.
Yes, Kent?
I do a monthly newsletter for the Northwest Florida Sentinel Landscape. I am happy to put a blurb or paragraph with links in that to your events, to
Okay,
your
awesome.
calendar, or whatever's the way you organize your meetings. I'm happy to help publicize it region-wide. If that
Okay,
helps.
awesome. Thank you. So online, do we think that a Facebook group is probably the easiest and most widespread way to share these activities? Or is there another platform that you would suggest us using?
Right.
Cool. Okay.
You do Twitter?
I think we have a Twitter. Don't we? We have never used it, but I think there is an account somewhere. I don't know how great Twitter is for local networking. Most I know about it is it's a lot of celebrities and things like that.
Okay, well,
Pretty good,
Good idea.
especially for a wider range of ages.
Yeah,
Instagram
there's a lot of ages.
or Instagram will be good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me see what else I got on the table. All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about today was our upcoming meetings and frequencies. So we are going to be meeting next month in March. It'll be more of an activity this time. So I'll try to keep the review to a minimum because we're going to be building vertical oyster gardens. And this will be kind of our pilot test to determine how difficult or easy it is to facilitate this activity for teenagers and young kids, because we do have some events coming up that we would like for people to work on these things. So Redfish Film Festival, we are going to be doing, we'll be in the Hotel Indigo, and we'll be building vertical oyster gardens with kids there too. So this will be kind of the pilot run, see how difficult it is, see how long it takes. So we're getting all the materials for that this upcoming few weeks. And then so we should be good to go on that by March. So be prepared to get your hands dirty. Aside from that, I wanted to do a short, just kind of a question really, on what would make our members prioritize the CAC meetings. So it seems every week we have different people coming, and it's really difficult to keep everyone updated on what's happening. I'm not really receiving any RSVPs either. And since we've moved to more public locations, it's really difficult when I don't know who's coming, or how many people or how big of a table to get. So is there any kind of suggestions anyone has for what would be more helpful to prioritize these meetings, or if we need to do a change of frequency, maybe looking at bi-monthly?
I think your suggestion of having it being like a volunteer event seems really good. Because
Volunteer.
people prioritize volunteering and something tangible that you actually
More hands-on.
Yeah.
More hands-on, okay.
And then maybe you can do like the review stuff virtually.
Okay.
You could still keep the monthly meetings, but if it's review, do it virtual, or versus if it's hands-on, I can do physical.
Yeah.
Okay. So they've suggested doing our review meetings or things that can be, it's just kind of a conversation, do it online or virtually. And then if we have an activity or a volunteer, something like that, that's in person, we can do just short review at the beginning of those meetings and then jump into the volunteer. Do you have any other suggestions on how to keep it moving?
I mean, you could do every other, and I think it's good to have people in face to face,
Yeah,
although I have taken classes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I'm guilty, you know.
Yeah, I know everyone stays busy, so it's hard to get here, but yeah, it is kind of difficult when it's back and forth on who's attending. So does anyone have any suggestions online for how to reinvigorate this?
Maybe try different
nothing yet.
times, maybe a lunch meeting for people, it's a working lunch meeting,
Mhm.
do like today. You know, do it where you did it around lunch, but
Yeah. What, do Thursdays still work for everyone?
yeah, Thursday you come.
So it's not the day, it's more so maybe the time.
It's a time, like, I mean, honestly, most people work till 5. So
Yeah.
very quick. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Like today, I
Okay.
had guys do the gutter work, we got the gutter issue, so.
Mm-hmm. So, would an earlier meeting be good, or you think after work meetings?
I'm
Like
thinking
evening?
5,
5,
but don't make it 2 hours,
yeah,
make it short, stick to the point.
yeah.
I think I have more tendency. People feel like they're getting somewhere with something.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe for the review meetings, we could have those at 5 or in the afternoon, or even, I mean, some people could attend during work if it's just virtual. But for the in-person volunteer activity meetings, we'll most likely, like, we can't really figure out, or we can't determine the time on those if it's a volunteer activity that we're like going to. It just kind of depends on when and where it's hosted. But I think for the ones that we're not doing an activity, we can look at moving the time for sure. Let's see. No comments?
It is
That's hard to make.
everybody happy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll most likely move to every other month doing only virtual. And just trying to do our in-person meetings as more volunteer opportunity and hands-on based rather than just sitting and reviewing. It seems like that'll help with the attendance. We'll keep everyone posted on the final decision on that front. But next meeting will definitely be in person. We'll be building vertical oyster gardens.
Thank you.
And let's see. Yeah, that looks like just about everything that I had for today. Are there any comments from the room or online? Anything burning you just want to share?
I'd love for y'all to come look at our floating tiny home that has a hull that promotes, you know, the barnacles and oysters.
Yeah. Where is it now?
It's right here in front of houses.
Okay,
While y'all are here. Y'all at your work?
cool. Anything online? You got real quiet. Daryl must have left. Is he still in there?
His truck.
Oh, all right, guys. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you
Good
being
job.
here. Thank you, guys. If you have any last minute comments or if you want to email me your feedback on the review today, feel free. All right. Thank you, guys.
Great job. Talk to you soon.
Hey,
See
I
you
put
tomorrow,
a,
actually.
I put a, this is Ken, I put a comment in the chat on the card.
Comment in the chat on the card. Okay, I believe Ryan has recorded that, but I will definitely take a look at it. Thank you. I see it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.